Hey, what's up, everybody? Looking at the price of XRP here. What's it doing? What is it doing? Well, I mean, it appears to be, right? We had this 1, 2. We came all the way down. We sort of created this, this expanded flat here. Came back down. So it looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have what appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could still get 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, getting that bullish divergence somewhere around that 47 cent area. And yeah, I think that could be a good shot at getting a low here soon. So we'll see how that plays out. Could the low be in now? Well, it's possible, but probably not, considering it doesn't seem like it would be finished. But I have to tell you, this wave's getting a little big here, right? This wave 4. So if this is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, if this comes up like that, it's going to be kind of different, right? It's going to be bigger than a wave 4. So, but if this continues to keep coming down, then yeah, I would imagine that would be our 5 waves, and that would be the low, at least for a big retracement. So the way I'm looking at it is just looking at this wave here. So when we zoom in, I mean, look at the wave as I zoom in. I mean, that kind of looks pretty bullish, a little bit, right? Not recently right in here. I don't like what's going on there, but look at this. We had a powerful wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we had a beautiful 3-way pullback, right? Which actually was part of a bigger correction. And then we came up into a retracement, a B wave, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So look at that. Look at that impulse with the 3-way pullback. I mean, I think that looks pretty good. So I fired a bullet down here, and let's see what happens for a trade. And for me, again, you can see A or W, or actually it'd be A, B, and C. I mean, you could see that's a pretty distinctive 3-wave shape. So I'm looking at that as a wave 2 potentially, right? So we have our ABC here, and we have an impulse to the upside, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So then here's your 3-way pullback. So my question is this a wave 1 and a wave 2? And now we're about to get a wave 3, 4, and 5? I mean, we'll see, but it's possible. And if that's the case, then what do we have? We have an ABC of the larger degree, so ABC. So if this can turn into a bigger impulse, then the statistical probability of it turning into, if this subwave was an impulse, then this whole wave could be perhaps impulsive, where we would get a 4 and a 5, right? So today is Sunday, which means we have the weekly close today, or yes, today. So in less than 2.5 hours. So my question is, what's going to happen this week? Because we know we've been having some crazy weeks in crypto, and it's only going to get crazier as the election comes, right? We got less than 60 days. So I can't imagine all the shenanigans that's going to go on. So I'm just trying to figure out what's price going to do, right? That's the one thing that matters to me, is what's price doing, so that I can position myself accordingly. And I think the best strategy is to simply dollar cost average. Obviously, we live in a fake fiat paper system that is crypto is pretty much anti-debt, right? So I look at crypto as an anti-debt instrument, and accumulating crypto, accumulating gold, accumulating silver is basically you're hedging against the dollar. And when you look at the world and you look at the central banks, It's not got that dominant factor anymore, right? And as inflation continues to increase, right, as things become more unmanageable for the central bank, obviously there's going to be some major transition away from that old system into a new system, right? Now, that could be CBDC, but I doubt that's going to work. They're going to try to do that. I think it will ultimately fail. I think it's got to be crypto related. I think it's got to be gold backed, right? Because just look at the central banks. What are they doing? They're buying gold. Why are they buying gold? Because they don't trust their own system, right? So neither should we, right? So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it goes up 10%, 5% down, or 20% down. Look, we're just trying to buy this stuff, but we want a good deal, right? If I'm looking at a chart and I think the price has got to come down more, well, I'm going to sort of obviously dollar cost average, but instead of buying, if, for example, I would buy right now, maybe I might wait a little bit, right? Or maybe I might spread it out. But the main thing is your overall position should be a long position for the future, right? So anything in the smaller time frames is just noise in between now and what the real value of crypto is, right? So anyways, but like I said the other day, this could be maybe a triangle, right? We have 3 down, we have 3 up, we have 3 back down. So maybe this turns into 3 back up, which means we would get a little 3 wave down and then hopefully continue higher. So that looks like a contracting triangle, or even maybe an ascending triangle. It's actually contracting, so but still, it still would be pretty bullish, right? Which means the low should be in. So if this is a triangle, then we have our 3 wave shape here, right? Because again, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So we have our 3 wave shape. And inside of this, we have 1, 2, 3, right? So, and we're back down here at these order blocks, right? So if you take this whole wave, it's less than half, right? Which means that's probably around, what, the 618 or the 78, let's see, I think it's the 618. Yeah, perfectly. Nailed the 618. So we're in between the 618 and the 50. And that's typically where things could reverse, right? Now, they can get deeper, like into the 702, 786, but when you start doing things like that, it increases the chance of making another low. So, but this is sort of the zone where people look to add to their position, right? And if everything I said you agree with, right, that we don't live in a people system, we live in a central banking system that prints money out of thin air. They loan it to the government with interest attached. They manipulate and basically corrupt the politicians, and we have the media that's been influenced by these intelligence agencies and whoever else is trying to control the narrative, right? Because at the end of the day, I think it goes the banks, and then trickling down from there is their power, right? So I think crypto has always been the biggest threat to them, because it's the only thing that stands even a remote chance at replacing their monopoly, right? I mean, that's what it is, right? It's a monopoly. I'm listening to people in the UK. I'm listening to people in Australia. I'm listening to people in Brazil, right? And I've heard that these people they feel the effects of their government right now. They're trying to ban like social media platforms are trying to censor you. Freedom of speech is under attack. There's a reason why all of this is going on. All of this weird things, right? But it all circles around what? Money. And money circles around the banks. And it's all about the banks. It's always been about the banks. So everything we see, right, that's makes a human being upset when they turn on the news and they witness all the horrible things that are going on, right? Think about who's really doing it. It's people who are in charge of our money supply. So that's why I think this is why I believe crypto is a honey hole. This is the ultimate honey hole, while they want you to believe that it's a honey trap. But actually, the dollar is, right? So anyway, I digress. That's my little rant for today. So let's keep jumping into the price action. And yeah, so let's go to Bitcoin real quick. And Bitcoin kind of looks like it's trying to hold some support here. I mean, it's not free falling anymore, right? And let's sort of recap a little bit. So back when we were over here, dropping down here, I said there's a good chance that this could be 3 up, 3 down, and then we can get another 3 up. But then the wave started, trickling down, and it kind of started bottlenecking. And then I said, okay, well, there's probably a good chance that we can have some divergence, because we were only looking at the chart like this, right? Okay, we got some divergence. Okay, we got a little bit more divergence. But then as it continued to do it, and then I said, okay, now something's going on. This is bottlenecking behavior, and that's the same type of behavior that we talked about over here, right? Where we sort of drop in, we bottleneck, we drop, right? So it usually ends in a drop. But then, right, maybe one more low and it continues higher. So if we look at this example, back over here, something similar, except a little bit more extended, right? You had a high, a little slightly higher high, you drop in, and now you start bottlenecking. Boom, boom, boom. It's basically 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it drops. So, and I'm starting to notice these types of patterns, and I go, okay, well, it's even happened over here, but in the opposite way, right? How you're kind of like bottlenecking, you hit the high, right? So now I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, we're probably going to come down. And that's exactly what we did. We dropped down. So now the question becomes, okay, now what? Is it going to keep going down? Is that it, right? I mean, that's always the tough call. Back over here, that was the low. We had a big drop, boom, done. Back over here, we actually had a 3-wave move back to the upside and then one more drop. So here's the options. This could be done, and we'll get into the small time frames in a minute, but we're probably heading back up to here. Now, if we get rejected here and we go up in 3 waves, then there's a chance there could be one more wave to the downside. And then that whole thing would be 1, 2, all of this would be 3, this would be 4, and this would be 5, and we would look for a divergence between the 3rd and the 5th, right? And then we would create a base down here, and then we would continue higher. So that's it. And if we go lower than that, then that's a full-on reversal. But this could be a double bottom coming up here soon. So let me extend it a little bit more. Right, so you drop hard, you come all the way down, like a little bit of a roundabout. It's kind of rolling over, kind of looks like it's going to drop off a cliff, but what it's actually doing is it's correcting to the upside, and then it's also correcting to the downside. And then you sort of, you bottom out, right, make a higher low, and then continue moving to the upside, right? So that would be sort of the main idea if we have to make another low, which I think could be a possibility. Now, if the low's in, then let's zoom in here. you can kind of see potentially I mean, you could say it's a 5-wave leg. So you could say 1, 2, and then you could say 1, 2, 3. You have a 4, and then 5. I don't like it at all. And then you have an ABC, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the whole thing becomes either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or this whole thing's an A, B, C. It's just a 3-wave shape. I'm hoping it's some kind of diagonal pattern. It's a little bit difficult to know because when I look at XRP, it looks like a clear 5-wave move. I mean, that's a clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? When I look at Theta, it also appears to be a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3 have a running flat for 4, 5. Okay. So Theta could be in some kind of triangle here, in which case we would break up, right? But if we lose this trend line, we're probably gonna, obviously we're gonna break lower, maybe a retracement back down to here. But we'll get into Theta in a minute. So let me get back to Bitcoin. So if it is a 3-wave move, right, then that means we have 3 up and we have 3 down, and now this looks like it wants to do another 3 back up like this, right? So then we would have W, X, Y, and then from there, let me go a little bit zoomed out. From there, we again, like I just said earlier, we would probably get back up into this zone, right? And then from there, we would either, can flag out a little bit, consolidate, even break the high. And then what we could have is a diagonal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have, you flag out a little bit bigger, A, B, C, while holding and defending these lows, right? We can break to the upside. Or we get up here, right? This is still 333. We get up here and we start getting rejected and we come down. We're not going to know until we get back up here, right? But the chances of getting back up here are pretty, I would say pretty high. I think we have a good chance at getting back up, around 55K, 56K. And then we reevaluate, right? So that's basically what we have here for Bitcoin. I really like this 3-wave shape. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. It's got a nice, that's what we want. We want nice oscillation. Whoops, 1 second here. There we go. We can see it nice and bold. So that's a clear 3-wave shape. And if this is an impulse, which it could be, and now we have a 3-wave pullback, right? And then what is this? This is a 1, and maybe we're going to get a 2, and then we can go higher, 3, 4, and 5, right? Or even maybe higher than that. So it could be a WXY, 3, 3, and 3, or this could be a 1, 2, and now we're about to go up into that 3rd wave, which maybe could make a little bit of sense if, if we get a big Monday pump, right, because of the weekly candle. And we'll jump into that as well. So yeah, I think that should do it for now. So we have a clear understanding of what Bitcoin could do. Now, is there any other ideas? Well, this could be an ABC, and this could be a 1, 2, and a 1, 2 to the downside, and now we're about ready to drop hard, right? This could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're going to drop 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and make another low. And if that's the case, then what I think is happening here is that this is a finished leg. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We get divergence between the 3rd and the 5th. And we build a base down here, and then we start our ascent back to the upside. Strong ascent. very strong, getting us back to approximately 60K plus, right? Or I would say 57K plus. But remember, we would make another low and we would get down here around 51K, 50K, right? So again, this could be an ABC right here. Look at this. We have 5 down, boom. And then we have an A, or we have a B wave right there, right? So instead of this being a 5-leg down, I'm looking at it as probably an ABC, a zigzag. So we have A, 3-wave B, right? And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's our C leg. Okay, so those are the 2 ideas, right? There's now, when I say 2 ideas, there could be variants to those specific ideas. Like, for example, the first idea, if this is a 1 and a 2, we're going to get 3, 4, and 5. But that means we go up. If this is a 3, 3, 3, we still go up, but we would have probably some rejection later on. But then it could turn into a diagonal. So it's it's a little bit sophisticated, how it all works. But it's quite interesting when you sit there and as it matures, then you start ruling out suspects, right? Because it's like, ever watch those homicide detective shows? It's not about finding the right suspect. It's a lot of times about ruling out all of the suspects. You want to rule things out. When you rule things out, you narrow things down, and when you narrow it down, your probabilities increase, and when your probabilities increase, you have a higher likelihood of winning the trade. And that's what the big misconception is out there in Twitter land, right? Where people think a chart is a prediction by whoever's sharing it. And a lot of times it's not the chart that is, it's the person that interpreting the chart, right? So, you can interpret it different ways. But obviously, right, it's about probabilities, not prediction. So, but yeah, that's it for Bitcoin. So, is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? We flag out, we go higher. Is this 3, 3, 3? We get rejected, we come down for another low? Or are we going to come down for another low now and get some divergence and then go? But notice, they all point to upside, I think, right? Now, if we start mega impulsing to the downside, then this is going to be the beginning of a much bigger third wave. So we would have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is 1 of the third now, right? This is 2, and now we're going to get a super strong third of the third, 4, 5, 4, 5. So that's an extension, right? That could happen too. But, again, I don't want to scare people here, but that's definitely in the cards, right? We would get a big drop. And when you zoom out, that's kind of what it looks like right there, which would then get us down between, I would say, in this area, right, between 37 and 47K, and then reevaluate the situation. Because, again, remember the other idea. Either this is going to be, on the larger time frames, what we have is, this is a fourth wave. I believe, in my opinion, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And wave 2 and wave 4 are in the same degree, right? You can tell by the length, the size, the structure. They're in the same degree, which means we should have a fifth wave, which means we should go up. So why are we going down? Well, maybe because the fourth wave's not finished. So what could the fourth wave be? It could be, for example, W, X, Y, X, Z. And this is a 1, this is a 2, and now we're going to get 3, 4, and 5. And that's over. And then we get alt season, and then we get a bear market, and it's done. Right? Or this is going to be same thing, just labeled different. A, we have a B, and then we have a C. So A, this is our B, this is our C. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing, just labeled differently. Or we have, look at this. Like I was saying the last several videos, we have 3 down, we have 3 up, and we have 3 back down. And then we go. Right? Which would mean that one chart I just said, right? Or the chart, the count that I just said, that could be what means this extension here. So we have a 1, 2, and then this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2 of the third, and now we're about to go 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and get down here, around 47, 45K, right? And then go up. And then you can see, you could draw a trend line from here to here to here, and they would all line up. So it'd be somewhere right here, right? Maybe this comes up in a third, and then we come down. It can, like I said before, if we go up, which I think is a good chance, right? If this is 3, 3, and 3, we get back up here and we get rejected, and then we start impulsing down, then again, that could be part of this 3-wave shape. So boom, 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 right? I mean, it doesn't have to be that big. It can actually be a double bottom. It could go maybe a little bit lower, right? So there you go. I laid out all those ideas, those different probable outcomes, and it's not really knowing exactly which ones are going to be. It's just about waiting to see which one gets ruled out so that we can position ourselves before the main sort of situation happens, right? So yeah, let's look at XRP here. So for XRP, it's basically the same thing. I would imagine. This being we have A, and then we have a B here, right? And then we have, whoops, no, I would put this here. There we go. And that's our B, right? So we have A, we have a 3-wave for B, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we still need 5, and that's going to be C. So we have A, we come up for B, and then we come down for C, right around 47K. And that's exactly, I think this trend line was already hit, right? Yeah, well, maybe not quite. Let's see. No, we still haven't made it down to that trend line yet. I mean, it could be conservative. I can put it up here, right? So, yeah, I think that could be a good idea. Another idea is to say that this is finished, right? Maybe we just had some kind of 3-wave move there. And actually, if I take a trend-based extension, I put it, I mean, it's a little bit subjective. We'll say there and here. I mean, the 1-to-1 gets you down to 48 cents. So basically, you take the length of this wave here, and this is your counter wave, and then you take that length and you match it up to here, and that's right where it gets you. So it's symmetrical. So right down here. So then you take another fib, we put it all the way up here. Actually, Actually, let me take everything off the screen, and I put this line 47 cents right about there, and then I'll take a fib from here all the way to the top, and you can see we hit the 618. So the 786 would be around 47 cents. So that would be a 786. So between 47 and 48 cents. If in fact, you know, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I have to tell you, I mean, when I zoom in on it, and sometimes when you zoom in, it gets you in trouble because, you know, the higher time frames trump the smaller ones, even though the smaller ones can be quite compelling, but sometimes they could be very deceiving, right? So, but I'm looking at this like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a beautiful 5-way move, and then we have a 3-way pullback, perfect, and then another, right, a B wave. So it looks like a nice 3-way pullback, and now this looks like a 1, a 2, and now it looks like we're going maybe even higher, guys. So I don't know. I fired a bullet, so I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. You know, this could just be a simple ABC, right? So for example, I don't know, where should I pull it here? Maybe, you know, it already went up to the 702. So, and we got rejected here. So if we can clear, now we're in the golden zone. So if we can clear the 618 and the 702 again, there'll be a lot of resistance, right? We could possibly get back up to 54 cents, or sort of in this zone right here, right? And then from there we reevaluate. We'll see, maybe we get rejected, maybe we flag out, maybe we get, you know, so we have this 3-wave shape. So this could be a simple correction to the upside, and then we still have to do that 5th wave later on, right? So then when I zoom out, you can see there's the 5th wave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here's the cool part. It doesn't necessarily have to get rejected, because we could come up, just like with Bitcoin here. We could come up 1, 2, right? And we get up here in 3. And then what we do is we get rejected, but we reject in 3. And then we go back up in 3 like this. That would be a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And leading diags are one of the best things because they can give you an indication of a reversal, right? So then you get a leading diag, and then what happens? You flag out. You get a ABC pullback, a larger one that can come all the way back down to 50 cents. But that's okay because it's a bullish pullback, right? If we get a 5-way move up and a 3-way pullback, this is going to look like a shoulder, a head, and another shoulder here. It's going to look like we're inversing. So this was the head. I didn't get to catch the ultimate low down here at 50 cents. I saw it happening too, and I thought, okay, you know, I'm waiting and waiting, and it just shot up and it didn't give me a chance. So I bought the 3-wave pullback, and I think I bought a spot position as well as we were coming down. I want to say like 51 cents or 50 cents, somewhere in there. But you know, this could keep going down, so you have to understand that, right? So I think that's it here. Now, if we don't necessarily need a 3-way pullback. This could be coming down now, right? I mean, the weekly close will happen, right? And then we just start coming down for one more wave. And then once we get down here, I think that's where we need to hold, because now we have a completed, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3-way pullback, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Now, if we can't hold that, then you know that's a full-on reversal, because I'm still looking at this as a bullish correction, because we have a low, we have a higher low, and in between those lows we have an impulse and another impulse. And this the move we're in now seems corrective, which tells me it's got to finish correcting, right? So let's look at Theta. Now Theta looks actually really bullish, I think. I mean, I love the way see how it came down very intricately. So it came down just, you know, 1, 2, I would say 3, and then you have a flat here for 4, and then you have 5. So this could be, so that's one reason why I don't think XRP or Bitcoin is going to have another low, because it would be right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't make sense like that. Or actually, was it right there, or was it, let me see, let me put up Bitcoin here side by side. So you could see Bitcoin 1, 2, 3, 4, we could get 5. But when we match that up with Theta, it doesn't make sense because it already rolled back over. So Theta might be telling the story, right? Or Theta as an example is telling the story. So but yeah, that looks like an inverse head and shoulders all day long in my book. So let's zoom in a lot. Look at that. Look at that 3-wave. Or look at that shoulder, head, shoulder. And then look at this right here. I mean, to me, that looks bullish, guys. This looks bullish, right? Remember when Bitcoin was bottlenecking? I said it's probably going to drop. It looked bearish. Now I'm telling you, this looks kind of like it wants to reverse, at least for a retracement. You can start to see, here's the sell side of the curve, right? And now it's starting to kind of round out in here. You can see how we're falling, and now it's starting to round out. So if we can start moving up, now we're in the buy side of the curve, and now what are we looking for? A retracement. Here's point A, here's point B. We want to get in the middle here. And the middle is always the hardest part. But now we have a chance, we're at the bottom here. Potentially, this might not be the bottom. We might have much more down to go. But from what I'm seeing, to me, in my opinion, not financial advice, I think we could see a bit of a retracement. So what I would do is take a Fibonacci retracement, take it right there, bring it all the way to the bottom, and I would be looking for the 2 black lines, right? There's a reason why they're black. There's a reason why I have them a different color. And then we have the 50%. So between, really about $1.30, I would say is a good area. So that's a 15-cent move from where we are now. So I think this thing's probably, what is it doing now? Right? So it looks like we had an impulse to the upside, which is your, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then like XRP had an ABC, but Theta actually looks like a running flat, which is even more bullish, which means it can have a pretty big impulse, right? So 1, 2, 3. And I think, that's probably what's happening. I took a little bit of a chance. I think I bought at $1.13 or something like that. But honestly, whatever it is, I think it's in a good area. But look at this. It looks like potentially an ascending triangle. So if I put that there, and then I can put our sort of trend line here, right? And our resistance line there. So if it's an ascending triangle, boom, 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 boom. Maybe we have one more pullback down here, right? And then go. I think that, it looks like a potential good trade setup. And then also the triangle is in the right shoulder of this inverse. And also we have 5 waves down. 1, 2. Actually, we have more than 5 waves if you're not counting the sub, but 1, 2. All of this is 3. and then we have a flat here for 4. I mean, it's a little bit subjective of where third is, but I think there's plenty of waves to say, okay, we need a retracement. Because even if this is a reversal and we're going down, we still need a pullback before we go more down. So let's see what happens during the pullback. Or maybe it's a reversal, but that's all part of the sort of hunt, right? It's like a treasure hunt. We got to figure it out. We got to figure out, you know, how is it moving? Is it moving back up correctively or impulsively or whatnot? So I think, you know, Theta and Bitcoin and XRP, they look like they're in a good spot for a potential bump to the upside. Now, if I look at the daily chart, remember this, guys. Ding, 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 ding. Remember that? We have our daily 9 buy. We came back down and we actually had a little bit lower low, so it wasn't quite perfected, but the sequence was after the 9 already printed. So this 9 is perfected, right? So we actually, you can see it started here. We bounced up. We had the 9. We came back down, and now we're coming back up. And now you see these red dots? You see these red dots right there, right there? Those red dots are basically what activates the 9. So if we can close above them, right? So here's your red dot. So they're right at $1.17, we'll say. So what we want, so the goal is, I mean, we only have less than 2 hours before the candle. I don't think it's going to happen on this candle, but maybe tomorrow's candle, we want to close above these red dots. If we can do that, right, if we can close above, then we can start getting back to the upside. Maybe we pull back a little bit, come back up here, and then get into these retracement levels up here. So I think that's not a bad idea. And then again, it could turn into a WXY, right? So we have, remember this, we have 3 up and then we have 3 down. So maybe this has to come back up in order to come back down, right? And then the low is in, right? And then we come back up in 3 or 5. So we have 3, 3, 3, or 3, 3, 5, depending if it's an ABC or WXY. But the point is, we're somewhere right in here where we have to retrace. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I could be wrong, but we'll find out. So, and then when you zoom all the way out, this is our big correction that we've been in for, you know, longer than 150 days now. Let me take this off. There we go. And what I think is happening is we're building somewhat of a base down here, right? Just like how, you know, we built a base kind of down here, right? Something like that. So this could be some kind of W pattern where we come down, we shoot up, we shoot back down, and then we start to lift off, right? Kind of like what it did back over here, where you have this W shape, right? Or even when we look at Ethereum, remember the fractal. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Remember the Ethereum fractal from back in the day that we were looking at here? 1 second. Yeah, so look at that. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but just as an example, you can see this W shape. So when we look at it from the bigger picture, you know, we could be somewhere right in here where we still have to go up, we still have to come down, and then we go, right? So if I look at Theta on the 2-day chart, by the way, if you can hit that like button, I really appreciate it. You can start to see the look of Ethereum, right? You see the W right there, right? So that means we come down a little bit more and then go up. And that's the main idea, by the way. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about is the smaller time frames right in here. Like I said, I gave you my ideas on Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, or Theta. So one of those probabilities, one of those ideas is going to be the one, obviously. So I think somewhere in this area should be that spot. So here we go. Here's the side-by-side kind of comparison of what I'm thinking here. So if we look at this three-way move, if this turns into a bigger three-way move, right, that could be what's going on here, right? And then we drop, and then it's finished. Or it's finished now, and that's it. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll reevaluate. But I think we got a lot discussed today. So now let's look at the weekly. So we have the weekly chart. Here's XRP versus Bitcoin. That looks like a decent wave up. I would imagine we get something like that. That's just what I would imagine. But let's start here with Theta Fuel. So when I look at Theta Fuel and I look at the weekly candle, what do you see? I see a bullish hammer candle. I see a bullish reversal candle. I see a long wick at the bottom. I see a strong body at the top. The problem, though, is this candle here, the red one. We had a bullish engulfing candle followed by a even more bearish engulfing candle. This candle came all the way down. The wick retested some of this wick down here, which I said was a good probability. Usually when you have a big wick, it's a lot of times gets tested. So it'll be interesting to see what the following candle will do. If I had to guess, I'm not so sure we would be breaking above these two candles yet, because I want to see, we have this bearish engulfing candle. I want to retest it 50%, and then from there we can either continue or get rejected. So we'll see. ICP. Now ICP looks good because even Theta Fuel looks really good, because look at this. We slammed to the downside with a bearish engulfing candle, and then we had this doji candle, and that's a good sign, because the doji is telling me that it's, the red candle is trying to push us down. The doji saying stop, I can't, I don't have enough room, I don't want to go down, right? So he's sort of like, leave me alone. So it'll be interesting again to see what the following candle will be like. Let's keep moving on here. Just they all pretty much, yeah, there's a bullish hammer candle right there. Looks pretty good. Matic is actually going to close below. Matic's had such a big pump to the upside. It had a big pump, and that's why I think it had a big dump. CRV looks good, right? We have a doji, we came up, we came back down, we have another doji. That's actually a dragonfly doji. Very bullish candle. Ethereum Classic, they're all about the same, right? So let me go to Bitcoin now. Bitcoin's the only one that's a little bit not so sure yet. So I want this candle to actually be tighter. So I would love to see Bitcoin rally, 56.5K before the candle closes, because it's still it's very bearish, because this candle is closing below. This is going to be the lowest weekly close in Bitcoin since back all the way in February, right? So this candle right here that we're on right now is going to close lower than all of these candles, all of them. So this is the lowest close candle, right? So the fear is it's going to close below these two right here. This is basically our order block, right? This is the last line in the sand. If we close below this, then it could cascade down. So, let me put this here, and we're actually starting to tick down a little bit. Or no, I'm sorry, we're ticking up. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Wow! Wow! Look at that. We have a bullish engulfing 1 hour candle. Where'd that guy come from? Dang, that's a pretty big candle right there. I gotta be honest with you. I mean, look at it. Wow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I would imagine that, since that was our order block here on our weekly chart, I'm imagining now that that's probably where we're going. So this does look three-wave-ish. It's starting to get that three-wave-ish look. Look at that. It's already playing out literally 10 minutes after I was just discussing that. Wow, look at CRV. Damn. That was a good buy right there. I missed that. Actually, it's been pumping for the last 3 hours. Wow. Okay, let's go to Theta. Look at that. There goes Theta. Let's go to, let me go to the other chart. It's cleaner. If I can find you. There it is. Okay, let me remove that. Oh, this is XRP. I'll look at that in a second. Look at that. I just had that box there. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's looking good. Look at that. We had an inverse head and shoulders. We were just right there just like 2 seconds ago. What the heck? Wow. Damn. We were literally right here. And now we're breaking out. Look at that. Amazing. Yeah, like I said, it's bullish. We had a shoulder, we had a head. And I said, look, we had a 5-wave move to the upside. We had a 3-wave pullback. It looked like a running flat, right? Let's look at XRP. I don't like that chart. Where's my other XRP chart at? Okay, here we go. So here's XRP, and we were just talking about it, right? Look at that. Look at that, man. Good thing I snagged some. Like I said, I took a shot, so I mean it looked good. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And look at this. We had this beautiful 3-way pullback. We were just talking about it, and then we had a 1, and then we had a 2, and I got the 2, and now look, it looks like we're pumping, right? We're getting right back to the resistance point. I want to see this thing break out 3, 4, 5. I want to see that 3-wave shape, right? I want to get us back up to here. We were just discussing right up in here, and then I want to see if we can flag out and it turn into some kind of diagonal, and maybe by Wednesday, Thursday, we can get a pretty big pump out of there. So, let's see. I mean, XRP has not even broken the swing high, but when I look at something like Fetch, it's breaking it, kind of. When I look at, let's see, Solana, yeah, they're pretty much the same. Theta. Now, Theta looks actually like one of the better looking ones, honestly. I mean, it looks pretty good. So, yeah, I think we got a good chance here at having a local bottom because, again, we have this 3-wave move up. So maybe this is a 3-wave move to the upside, and then we come down, and then we get another move up. So that's what we're looking for. I'm not saying it has to go down. This could turn into a diag. This could turn into a 3-wave pullback, and this can turn into 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. It could turn into a leading diagonal, and then we flag out in here, and then we go higher. So we'll talk all about that as the time becomes more appropriate. But, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. So let's go back to the daily, and let's go to the TD sequential. And now let's go to the 2-day chart. I haven't looked yet. Is there any 9s on the 2? No, we don't have any 9s. Okay, so I'm sure the 3-day would definitely not have any. Nope. But the daily did. And now, oh wow, guys, I didn't think that was gonna happen. I was just saying earlier that I don't think this candle is gonna break above the red dots and activate the 9. But look at it, it's doing it. So if we can close where we are right now, we have an hour and a half. It's going to be kind of tough because we've already been pumping. It's probably going to consolidate. But if we could close above these red dots, then we would have activated the 9 buy. And if basically it doesn't make it any more better, it just means that there's more confidence in the overall move, right? So, you know, let me see here on the. I haven't looked at the charts all day yesterday. I was out busy. Yeah, we got some more red dots on the 5-hour. I'm just trying to see. Okay, so yeah, it's looking pretty good. Let's actually go to the 2-week chart now, and now let's see what that's doing. Because remember, we had one of the biggest, rarest signals on Theta, which is a 2-week 9 buy, very rare buy signal. And that 2-week 9 buy was coming after a 150-day correction. It was coming after a 5-wave move. It was coming in a Bitcoin 4th wave, all while we have 60 days left of the election. So what the hell is going to happen? I don't know, man. It's going to be insane. I think it's going to be, no matter what, I'm going to enjoy the ride. If we go up, fine. If we go down, I don't care, because eventually we will go up no matter what, because everything goes, the dollar always goes to, or I should say fiat currencies eventually go to zero against things that are scarce, right? So anyways, but the 2-week chart, it looks really good. We have a perfected 9, and look what we're doing. We're building a base. Red, green, red. What's next week going to be? Green, baby. It's going to be green, hopefully. And then maybe we might have one more red. And then after that, maybe we could break out. I don't know. Or maybe we could break out next week. It's going to be kind of difficult to know unless we're looking at the smaller time frames. But I want to see us break out and eventually get back to the Fibonacci extension right here between $2.20. You can see that area right here. That's where I want to see it. That's where I believe it's heading. Okay? Maybe, again, if that was a WXY and we needed one more low, then whatever, so be it. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to take some time, but I think that's where we're going. Now, if Bitcoin goes down into reaccumulation, obviously it's going to take a lot more time for us to get back there, because the problem is Bitcoin. You could see you have a bearish engulfing 2-week chart, but here's the cool part. The Bitcoin dominance looks like it could fall pretty soon. So I'm wondering, is there a scenario where Bitcoin kind of falls and the alts can keep going up? Because the alts look like they bottomed from a longer perspective. Bitcoin looks like it's still working in this 4th wave. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of this sort of works out. Do we have a WXY and we still need one more low? You know, so a W, an X, and a Y, one more low. Or is it WXYXZ and this is a 1, this is a 2, and then we're about ready to go, flag out and continue, right? Or could this be even a triangle in here? We hit the low and then continue. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen, but let's just take it day by day, right? And you already know my thoughts on the smaller time frames, so we'll leave it at that. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you can, hit that like. I'd really appreciate that. And by the way, I'm going to do a members video sometime this week, so be on the lookout for that. If you want to participate in that, you can just click join where the subscribe button is, and can join, and I will do my best to do as much as I can for the members video, as far as strategy goes, as far as sort of what to think and what to expect as we go down this road. because we're at a big inflection point. So, and a big volatile move is coming. So anyway, that'll be it for this video. Remember, weekly close. Tomorrow's Monday. Let's see what happens. All right, guys. Cheers.